If you feel like you should be more proactive as a leader, more intentional in meetings, more strategic with the team and with your boss, but every single day feels like you are just putting out fires, then this video, this one is the one for you. And I want to be very clear up front, okay? The problem is not that you are bad at leadership. The problem is that you are in firefighter mode and it is creating this inability, right? It is taking away all of your capacity to actually lead on purpose. I had a student recently who was in this exact same spot, right? He said something to me that kind of stopped me in my tracks. He told me, I have all the notes from the class. I have the slides. I have my takeaways. I have everything organized in this nice binder. And I am just going to apply it once things quiet down a little bit. And I remember thinking, that moment is never coming because there is always going to be some new project that needs to be handled, right? There's going to be something new from senior leadership. There's always going to be this looming anxiety with your team, whether that's a fear of layoffs or worry about having additional overtime. And there's always going to be this pressure around engagement scores, morale, retention, metrics, and each one of those things feels urgent. Each one feels like a fire that has to be put out right at that moment. So there the binder sits. This idea just waits, and leadership stays reactive. He continues to have less and less time. And that's where a lot of leaders get stuck. And it's not about avoiding proactive leadership because they don't care, because you don't care. You're avoiding it because you're exhausted. You're running around from meeting to meeting. You're answering questions that really shouldn't need you, and you're absorbing pressure so that your team never has to feel it. And what that does is quietly train everyone that you are the fixer. You train your team to wait for you to come in, swoop in, and save the day. You train senior leaders to see you as a person who just gets things done instead of being able to execute through the people around them. And you train yourself to continuously roll up your sleeves because that is what you see yourself as being good for. That is where you put the ceiling on yourself. What you want to be is the leader who sets direction, the leader who shapes priorities, the leader who puts out fires is not the valuable spot that you want to be in. Here's the best way I can explain what's happening, okay? Leading in firefighter mode is like sitting next to a campfire on a windy night. You are spending all of your energy chasing these sparks as they fly out of the fire. And a spark lands over here, which is senior leadership's new initiative, new plan. And you jump over to stomp it out, right? You jump over to fix that thing. And then a spark lands over there. And that's the team anxiety, the rumors, the disengagement. And you have to run over there to handle that thing. And then another spark flies out there. And it's all the metrics and the scores and the optics. And so you have yet another reaction. Every single spark feels urgent to you. Every spark demands your attention right now. But none of them are the actual fire. None of them are the actual source. And because the real issue isn't the sparks that are flying, it is how the fire was built in the first place. That binder that my student mentioned, that's not preparation, that's postponement. That's agreeing that you're going to keep chasing the wind. Because the belief that once the wind dies down, then everything will be different. Then you'll communicate intentionally. Then you'll guide instead of react. But the leadership wind never dies down. Strong leaders don't get better at chasing sparks, right? You don't tend that fire better by getting faster. You tend it better by building it differently. You create boundaries around this fire. You set the context early for what the expectations are. They clarify ownership before chaos ever gets a chance to show up. And to be clear, it is not extra work, it is different work. And that is the part that you really need to hear, my friend. Gently, but clearly. Because firefighter mode, it isn't going to cost you time. It costs you how senior leadership sees you. Because if they see effort, if they see responsiveness, if they see someone who just cares deeply, then they're keeping from seeing, or you're keeping them from seeing someone who could be strategic, someone who can lead through influence, someone who is ready for the next level. The longer you stay in that firefighter mode, the more you reinforce the identity of busy doer rather than strategic leader. And that's why things don't magically improve that one day you do have more time, that one time you do get a new opportunity, because you take that old habit with you, that reactionary mindset. It goes with you everywhere you go. So if you're waiting for things to get quieter before you lead proactively, stop waiting. That season doesn't exist. Leadership isn't about putting out every single fire faster. It's about creating the conditions where fewer fires start in the first. Finder doesn't need more time, it needs a decision to stop chasing sparks and start building the fire differently. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but how do I actually do that in my role, in my circumstances, without dropping the balls that I have been asked to juggle, right? And without burning all of the bridges around me? That is the work. That is the work that you are choosing as a trade off. And that is where intentional leadership starts. Now, if that is you, if you are the person that is like, no, I'm in, I just need to figure out how, then I want you to click the link below and set up a strategy session with me. Let's figure out what it would look like for you to actually do this, to actually put in the work up front to build a different fire. All right, I hope that this was helpful for you today, my friend. Click that link below so that we can work out your strategy, and I will talk to you in the next.